You spend 2 hours setting up Stable Diffusion, and Midjourney spits out a better-looking image in 60 seconds flat. Which one actually fits your workflow? Stable Diffusion is built for control and local power. Midjourney is built for gorgeous defaults with zero friction. One of them is right for you, and the answer comes down to one thing. Test 1. Output quality. And the thing that bites people is this. You run 100 images through Stable Diffusion, the benchmark numbers look great, and then a client picks Midjourney's output every single time in a blind test. Objective scores and perceived quality are two very different things, and confusing them costs you real client relationships. I looked at the numbers, and here's what actually happened. Stable Diffusion 3.5, large hits 0.88 on Geneval and 0.78 on T2i Compbench, both community reported from a single source, so I'd weight those directionally rather than as gospel. Midjourney V6 publishes zero comparable figures, yet community consensus consistently picks it for aesthetics and photorealism. Objective scores go to SD, subjective preference goes to Midjourney, and in creative work, the eye usually wins. Midjourney takes output quality, and I didn't expect that to hold once I saw SD's benchmark scores, but the community preference data is consistent enough that you can't ignore it. That puts Midjourney on the board first, 1-0, and it's the only test Stable Diffusion drops across all 5. I've spent enough hours inside these tools to know that the benchmark number and the vibe of the output are two very different things. Drop a comment if you've ever had a client reject the technically superior image. Test 2. Generation speed. So, the entry plan for Midjourney sounds fine until you're iterating on a logo concept, and you're sitting there waiting 60 seconds per batch while their servers are busy. That wait time compounds fast when you need 50 variations before a client call, and it's a cost you don't see on the pricing page. I went through community benchmarks across both tools, and the gap is real. Stable Diffusion 3.5 medium runs about 10 seconds per 1024 Othcoso24 image on an RTX 4090. Midjourney V6 takes roughly 60 seconds for a set of 4, so about 15 seconds each, but that's cloud dependent and server load changes it. Different setups, so this is directional, but 6 times faster locally is a number that matters when you're iterating. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Stable Diffusion takes generation speed, and that 6 times faster figure is the reason, as long as you own the GPU to run it. That ties things up at 1 apiece, and the next 3 tests are where the real separation happens. Test 3, pricing and credits. The objection I hear a lot is that Midjourney's entry plan is basically nothing, so why does it matter? Well, 200 images is your cap at that price, and if you're running a real creative workflow, you hit that in a day or 2, and you're either upgrading or stopping. I pulled both pricing pages, and here's what they actually say. Stable Diffusion's entry plan is $20 a month for 1,500 credits, which works out to about 0.003 per image. Midjourney's entry plan is $10 for $200 images, which is roughly 4 times more expensive per image. That gap is verified directly from both pricing pages, and SD also has a real free tier with 25 credits, where Midjourney's free trial is pretty limited. Stable Diffusion wins pricing, and the 4 times cheaper per image gap is verified, not directional. That puts Stable Diffusion ahead 2-1, and the cost story only gets more lopsided from here. Okay, so Stable Diffusion is ahead on cost and speed, but the 2 tests still coming are the ones that could actually change your answer. Style control and platform availability are the dimensions where your specific workflow either locks in with one tool or rules it out completely, and you want to see those numbers before you decide anything. Test 4, style control and consistency. A freelancer producing a comic series needs every character to look the same across 50 panels. With the wrong tool, you spend more time fixing character drift than you do drawing, and that's real hours lost. The question is, which tool actually gives you the levers to lock a style down across a full project? I went through the feature docs and community reports on both sides. Stable Diffusion supports fine-tuning, LoRa, and ControlNet, which gives you pose control, edge matching, and segmentation. Pixel-level stuff that no cloud tool comes close to. Midjourney V6 has built-in style reference and character consistency tools that are genuinely easier to use, but they're less granular. If you need precision, SD is in a different category. Stable Diffusion takes style control because ControlNet and fine-tuning are genuinely unmatched for precision work, and that's a verified call from the feature documentation. That's 3 for Stable Diffusion, 1 for Midjourney, and it's not close. Test 5, Platform Availability and Limits. So, the top Midjourney unlimited plan sounds fine until you realize you're fully locked into their cloud, their Discord interface, and their usage caps, with no local install option at all. If Midjourney's servers go down or they change their terms, your whole image pipeline stops, and you have zero fallback. Watch what happens when you compare deployment options side by side. Stable Diffusion is open source, runs locally on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, has no hard usage limits, and you can run it through Comfy UI or A1WebWow without touching any cloud service. Midjourney is cloud-only via Discord and a web interface. Plan-based image caps apply, and there is no local install path. The freedom gap is as wide as it gets. Stable Diffusion wins platform availability, and the open-source local deployment story is the clearest win in this whole comparison. That's 4-1, Stable Diffusion, and that's your final scoreboard. Stable Diffusion is the clear pick when cost and control are your priorities. At roughly €0 per image, you're paying about 4 times less than Midjourney's entry rate. ControlNet and fine-tuning give you pixel-level precision no cloud tool matches. It runs fully local with no usage caps and no Discord required. And the free 25 credit tier lets you get your hands dirty before spending anything. Midjourney is the right call when you want gorgeous output with zero setup time. Community consensus consistently picks V6 for photorealism and aesthetic quality out of the box. You generate stunning images from Discord in seconds with no GPU knowledge needed. Built-in style and character consistency tools are way easier for non-technical users, and the entry plan at $10 a month is simple and predictable. If you need control, cost efficiency, or a local pipeline, Stable Diffusion wins this one, 4-1. If you just want the most beautiful image possible in 60 seconds with no setup, Midjourney is a perfectly reasonable splurge. One thing the docs don't spell out, Midjourney's API access is still heavily restricted and not available on the base plan, so if you ever want to pipe Midjourney into an automation workflow, you're looking at higher tiers and a waitlist. Stable Diffusion's API works out of the box locally with no approval process at all. Now, if you're comparing Stable Diffusion against its closest open source rival, I did a full breakdown in Flux versus Stable Diffusion, which is better, and the speed and output quality numbers there are worth seeing before you commit to either model.